Tomorrow night, 6 planets will stand in a single arc across the sky, and most people will sleep right through it. Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter will trace a line from the western horizon to the heights of the evening sky, stretching across more than 150 degrees of open darkness. 6 worlds, 6 ancient forces, lined up like sentinels waiting for you to look up. But here is what nobody is telling you. This is not just an astronomical spectacle. This alignment arrives exactly 7 days after the rarest conjunction in recorded human memory. On February 20th, Saturn and Neptune met at 0 degrees Aries, the very first breath of the entire zodiac wheel. That conjunction has not occurred at that precise degree in over 9,000 years. The last time these two planets touched at the opening gate of Aries, human beings were learning to plant seeds for the first time. Civilizations had not yet been named. And now, 7 days later, 6 planets arranged themselves across the sky, like a procession carrying the weight of that moment forward. This is not a coincidence. This is a continuation. A cosmic sentence that began with 2 words on February 20th and is now being written across the entire night sky with 6. In the next few minutes, you will discover 3 things most people will never hear about this alignment. First, the astronomical reality of what is physically happening above your head tomorrow night, and why the timing matters more than anyone is saying. Second, the hidden connection between this 6-planet arc and the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that just shook the foundation of a 9,000-year cycle. And third, a specific preparation you can begin tonight, before the alignment even peaks, that will allow you to move with this energy instead of being carried away by it. If you have felt something stirring in you this past week, something you cannot name, something between restlessness and anticipation, stay here. Your instincts brought you to this moment for a reason. Let me ground this in what is physically, measurably happening above you. Because this alignment is not metaphor. It is not a loose spiritual idea. It is a mechanical, observable event unfolding in real time across the solar system. Tomorrow evening, approximately 30 minutes after the sun drops below the western horizon, the sky will begin to reveal its hand. Low in the west, almost touching the edge of the Earth, Mercury and Venus will appear together, separated by roughly 5 degrees. Mercury, the fastest traveler in our solar system, will be faint, blinking, almost swallowed by the last light of day. Venus, burning at a magnitude of -3.9, will anchor that corner of the sky like a torch held just above the waterline. Lift your gaze slightly higher and to the left. Saturn will be there, dimmer than Venus, quieter, but unmistakable once you find it. And here is where the story deepens. Saturn is not just another point of light tomorrow night. 7 days ago, Saturn completed a conjunction with Neptune at 0 degrees Aries. A conjunction so rare that the last time it happened at that exact degree, human civilization as we know it did not yet exist. Saturn will still carry the resonance of that meeting. It will still be charged with it, like a bell that was struck 1 week ago and has not stopped vibrating. Now sweep your eyes further east, past Uranus, which will require binoculars to detect near the Pleiades star cluster, past Neptune, invisible to the naked eye but present, always present, in the constellation Pisces near Saturn. And there, high in the southeastern sky, burning brighter than anything around it, you will find Jupiter, magnitude -2.5, sitting in the constellation Gemini, flanked by the ancient twin stars Castor and Pollux. And tomorrow night, the moon itself, 86% illuminated, will hang just 3.8 degrees from Jupiter, close enough to fit behind your thumb held at arm's length. 6 planets, 1 arc, 150 degrees of sky, and a waxing gibbous moon standing guard beside the largest planet in our solar system. This is what the newspapers will tell you. This is what the headlines will describe. But what nobody is telling you is the context in which this alignment arrives. 7 days ago, on February 20th, Saturn and Neptune met in exact conjunction, at 0 degrees and 45 minutes of Aries. To understand why that matters, you need to understand what 0 degrees Aries means. In the language of the sky, 0 Aries is the starting point. It is the first degree of the first sign, the place where the zodiac begins. When the sun crosses this point every year, we call it the spring equinox, the moment when light and darkness stand in perfect balance before light begins to win. It is the cosmic reset button, the opening breath of a new cycle. Saturn and Neptune have not met at this point in recorded history. The last time was approximately 7,000 years before the Common Era. To put that in perspective, when Saturn and Neptune last joined at 0 Aries, the Sahara was green. Forests and lakes covered what is now the largest desert on Earth. Human beings were transitioning from nomadic hunting to settled agriculture for the first time. The concept of a city did not exist. Writing had not been invented. The wheel had not been conceived. That is the scale of what happened just days ago. And now, this alignment of 6 planets arrives not in isolation, but as the first full breath after that conjunction. Think of it this way. If the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on February 20th was a crack of thunder, this 6-planet alignment is the downpour that follows. The Babylonians, who built the oldest known system of celestial observation nearly 4,000 years ago, understood something that modern headlines have forgotten. They recorded over 7,000 celestial omens on 70 cuneiform tablets in a collection called the Enuma, Anu, Enlil. For them, the planets were not decorative. They were living messengers. Jupiter was Marduk, the king of the gods. Venus was Ishtar, the goddess of both love and war. Saturn was Ninurta, the stern enforcer of cosmic law. Mercury was Nabu, the scribe who recorded the decrees of heaven. When these planets gathered in the sky simultaneously, the Babylonian priests did not marvel at the beauty. They read the message. They understood that when the heavens spoke in chorus, the earth was being given a directive. And when they read multiple planets appearing along the same arc, spanning from horizon to zenith, they called it a celestial decree. Not a suggestion, a decree, something the gods had decided together, written across the sky in a language older than any alphabet, and delivered to those who had the eyes and the stillness to receive it. You do not need to be a Babylonian priest to feel what is happening. You may have already noticed it in your body. Over the past week, since the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, many people have reported a strange and persistent restlessness, a tightness in the chest that has no medical explanation, waking at 3 or 4 in the morning with a sudden alertness as though something important is about to happen, dreams that feel more like memories than fantasies, encounters with people from your past appearing without warning, a song you have not heard in years suddenly playing everywhere you go. These are not random. Your body is an instrument, and it has been registering the frequencies of this cosmic sequence, whether your conscious mind acknowledged it or not. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction rearranged something deep beneath the surface. Old foundations cracked. Illusions you had been comfortable with began to lose their shape. And now, with all 6 worlds lining up across the sky, the energy is not settling. It is amplifying. But here is the part that changes everything, and why this alignment is not just something to watch, but something to prepare for. This 6-planet arc does not stand alone. It is the second act in a 3-part cosmic sequence that began on February 20th with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction and will culminate on March 3rd with a total lunar eclipse at 12 degrees Virgo. 3 events, 3 thresholds: conjunction, alignment, eclipse. The first act already happened. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction cracked the seal on a cycle that had been running for 36 years. The last time these 2 planets met was in 1989, and the world that emerged from that meeting defined the reality most of us grew up in. Now that cycle is over. A new one has been declared, and it began at the most powerful point in the zodiac. The ground beneath the old world is no longer solid. The second act is what you will witness tomorrow night, the alignment. All 6 worlds arranged in a single arc, each one carrying its own frequency, its own ancient role, its own question for your life. This is the moment the soil begins to shift, when what was buried during the conjunction starts pushing toward the surface. And the third act, the eclipse on March 3rd, will be the moment the old shell cracks open entirely. Whatever has been hidden, whatever has been denied, whatever truth you have been postponing will no longer wait quietly. This is not fear, this is precision. The universe does not punish, it reveals. And what it is revealing right now, through this extraordinary sequence, is that the structures you built on sand are being identified, not to destroy you, but to show you where to build on stone. So when you step outside tomorrow evening, 30 minutes after the sun sets, and you look to the western horizon, and you see Venus burning low, and Saturn hovering just above, and Jupiter blazing in the east with the moon at its side, understand what you are looking at. You are not watching a pretty arrangement of lights. You are standing inside a sentence the cosmos has been composing since before the first city was built, before the first alphabet was carved, and it is addressed to you. But knowing this is not enough. The question that matters now is what you do with it, and that is exactly what we are about to get into. Because this alignment carries a specific energy, a specific invitation, and if you understand what it is asking of you, the next 30 days of your life could look radically different from the last 30 years. Each of the 6 planets in tomorrow night's alignment carries a specific frequency, and when they line up together, they do not blur into one signal. They layer, they harmonize, like 6 voices singing different notes that somehow form a single chord. To understand what this alignment is asking of you, you need to hear each voice separately. Start where the alignment begins, low on the western horizon. Mercury. In the ancient world, Mercury was always the messenger, the one who moved between worlds, who carried decrees from the gods to the people and carried prayers from the people back to the gods. Tomorrow night, Mercury sits at the lowest point of the arc, barely visible, almost swallowed by the fading light. That position is not accidental. Mercury is whispering, not shouting. And what it is whispering is this: pay attention to the words you have been avoiding, the conversation you have been postponing, the truth sitting at the tip of your tongue that you keep swallowing back down. Mercury, at the edge of visibility, is telling you that some messages can only be received when you are willing to look where the light is dimmest. Right beside Mercury, Venus burns. Brighter, bolder. Venus has always represented what we desire, what we value, what we are willing to sacrifice comfort for. In this alignment, Venus is rising. She is still low, still close to the horizon, but she is climbing, gaining altitude night after night. This is Venus in her ascent, transitioning from absence to dominance in the evening sky. And what she is asking you is deceptively simple. What do you truly want? Not what you have settled for, not what you told yourself was good enough, not the life you built to satisfy someone else's definition of success. What do you, actually, in the marrow of your bones, want? Venus in this position does not accept rehearsed answers. Higher now, Saturn, the great taskmaster, the planet that takes 29.5 years to complete a single orbit around the Sun. Saturn does not move quickly because Saturn does not deal in temporary things. It deals in foundations, in consequences, in the kind of truth that takes decades to reveal itself. And Saturn, still resonating from its conjunction with Neptune at 0 Aries 1 week ago, is radiating the energy of that meeting. That conjunction asked a devastating question. What in your life is built on an illusion? What structure have you maintained not because it is true, but because dismantling it would require a courage you were not ready to summon? Saturn in this alignment is not asking you to destroy anything. It is asking you to stop pretending that what is crumbling is still standing. And then there is Jupiter, high in the east, blazing, unmistakable. The largest planet in our solar system, visible to the naked eye as the brightest point of light after the moon. Jupiter has always been the planet of expansion, of meaning, of the story you tell about why your life matters. In the constellation Gemini, flanked by the twin stars, Jupiter is asking you to expand. Not your possessions, not your schedule, your understanding. There is a larger pattern at work in your life, and you have been so close to it, so embedded in the daily texture of it, that you have lost sight of the design. Jupiter in this alignment is the vantage point. It is the mountain you climb to see the valley you have been walking through, and from that height, the path becomes visible. Between these bright sentinels, Uranus and Neptune hold their positions in silence. Uranus near the Pleiades, that ancient cluster of stars that virtually every civilization on Earth has named and revered. Neptune near Saturn, invisible but potent, the planet of dreams, of dissolution, of everything that exists beyond the edge of what you can prove. These two planets are not asking you questions. They are the questions. They are the uncertainty, the fog, the beautiful, terrifying space between who you have been and who you are becoming. 6 frequencies. And together, they are composing a single instruction. Let go of the version of your life that no longer matches the truth of who you are. Now here is where this becomes something you can act on, because the cosmos does not ask you to simply receive. It asks you to participate. Between tonight and the total lunar eclipse on March 3rd, you are standing inside a 5-day corridor of extraordinary intensity. What you do in this window matters, not symbolically, structurally. The seeds you plant now, the decisions you make, the truths you finally speak, these will be amplified by the eclipse in ways that casual intentions cannot replicate. So here is what I am going to ask you to do. Not as a suggestion, as a protocol. 5 nights, 5 actions, each one aligned to a specific night in this cosmic corridor. Tonight, February 26th, before the alignment even arrives, take a real piece of paper, actual paper that your hands can touch, and a pen with weight to it. Sit somewhere quiet and write this sentence at the top of the page. The lie I have been living is. Then finish it. Do not think, do not edit, do not be diplomatic with yourself. Saturn and Neptune just met at the most powerful degree in the zodiac for the first time since before civilization began. The time for diplomacy with your own soul is over. Write the truth. Then fold the paper and place it under something heavy. A book, a stone, something with weight. Let it sit there, pressed down, like a seed under soil. Tomorrow night, February 27th, the night of the alignment itself. Step outside 30 minutes after sunset. Face west. Find Venus first. She will be the brightest low point. Then find Saturn above her. Then turn east and find Jupiter with the moon beside it. Stand there for at least 3 minutes in silence. Do not take your eyes off the sky. Let the arc enter you. 3 minutes of stillness under 6 planets. That is all. Let your body register what your mind cannot yet name. February 28th, the morning after the alignment. Before you speak to anyone, before you look at any kind of news, sit in silence for 7 minutes. Just breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 7 minutes. During those 7 minutes, one image or one word will surface. It may seem random. It is not. Write it down on the same paper from the first night. On the other side. March 1st, 2 days before the eclipse. Go outside and place your bare feet on the ground. Grass, soil, stone, anything that is the actual earth. Stand there for 3 minutes and say one sentence aloud. I am ready to release what is no longer true. Say it once. Mean it. Then walk away without looking back at the spot where you stood. March 2nd, the night before the eclipse. Take the paper you have been writing on. Read both sides. The lie you named. The word or image that surfaced. Hold the paper in your hands and tear it in half. Not violently, slowly, deliberately, as if you are separating 2 lives, the one you have been living and the one you are about to begin. Place one half under your pillow, burn the other half safely, or release it into running water. Let it go. On March 3rd, the total lunar eclipse at 12 degrees Virgo will do the rest. The moon will pass through the Earth's shadow and turn the color of blood and copper. That is not poetic language. That is what happens during a total lunar eclipse. The light changes, and on that morning, at 6:38 Eastern Time, the eclipse will reach its peak. Whatever you named on that paper, whatever truth you finally allowed to surface, the eclipse will seal it. Not with punishment, with permission. Permission to stop carrying what was never yours to carry. This 5-night protocol is not a ritual someone invented for content. It is a response, a precise response to a precise cosmic sequence. The meeting, the arc, the eclipse, 3 acts. And you are not the audience, you are the lead. But there is one more thing you need to understand before we close this chapter. Because what is coming after March 3rd, what this sequence is building toward, is not an ending. It is a doorway. And what waits on the other side of that doorway depends entirely on whether you walk through it with your eyes open or closed. There is a question that has been following humanity since the first person looked up and felt something stir in their chest. It is not, why are we here? The question that actually changes lives is smaller, quieter, and far more dangerous. What am I waiting for? Every person watching this has something they have been postponing. A conversation, a decision, a version of themselves they have glimpsed in rare moments of honesty and then buried under the weight of routine. You know exactly what it is. You have always known. This cosmic sequence is not creating that knowing. It is removing your last excuse for pretending you do not know. 9 millennia ago, when Saturn and Neptune last met at this degree, human beings made a choice that redefined the species. They stopped wandering and started building. They pressed a single seed into the soil and decided to wait for it to grow. That is all any great transformation has ever been. One honest act, repeated. Tomorrow night, 6 planets will arc across the sky. The moon will stand beside Jupiter like a witness, and somewhere beneath that arc, you will be standing. The same sky that watched over the first builders, the first dreamers who dared to stay long enough to create something permanent. That sky is watching you now, and it is asking the only question that has ever mattered. What will you build with the time you have left? If something moved in you tonight, write it in the comments. Your words may be the exact signal someone else has been waiting for. If there is someone in your life who needs to hear this, trust the name that just entered your mind and send it to them. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because tomorrow night I will walk you through the six-planet spectacle as it happens, a celestial event that occurs only once every 20 years. Every video takes hours of research, and your support keeps this work alive. The universe has spoken. What comes next is in your hands.